Today's daf is daf Chaf, and we're studying the pasuk Lo Sichanem, because the Mishnah here on daf Yutes Amud Beis had established that you're not allowed to sell plants that are still growing in the ground to an idol worshiper, because anything that's attached to the karka has the status of karka. That's mechubel karka, and you're not allowed to sell karka to an idol worshiper because of the pasuk Lo Sichanem, which you'll see here on the top of daf Chaf. How do we darshan lo sichanem? And the answer is that lo sichanem means chania. Don't give them a chania. Chania means a holding in the land. Lo sitein lem chanoya bekarka. Now the Gemara says, "Hi lo sichanem iboyle." The Gemara is going to derive not one but two extra different prohibitions from the same pasuk. The hachi kamar achmana lo sitein lehem chen, which means that you're not allowed to beautify them by appreciating their good, their beauty, or by uh, by giving them compliments. This is not permissible. So now the Gemara is going to get into some pretty heavy digduk. We're just going to cover it sort of superficially. The Gemara says in Cain, if the Torah is only prohibiting expressing appreciation and adoring the idol worshippers, then lema kra lo sechunam, lo sechunem. So the drush of lo sechunem would have the word lo sechunem has in its shoresh, in the root, the word chen, which is lo sitein lem chen. So why does it say lo sichanem? Shmami notarte. So we can derive two things from the pasuk lo sichanim. One of them is if we darshan the word as if it said chaniah, you can't give them a holding in the land by selling them land in Israel. And number two, you can't give them chen by appreciating their beauty and so forth. Vakati mi boile, the Gemara now objects that we need lo sichanim for another lav, another prohibition. The Hachi Kamar Achmana, the Torah is telling us, lo site lematna. You're not allowed to give them a gift gratis without getting payment for it. You can't give them a gift. You're only allowed to sell it to the idol worshippers. Im Kain, again, kind of a digduk in the language. Lema kra lo sechinem. Now, lo sechinem, the shorish of which is chinam, would refer to a matnas chinam, a free gift. My lo sechanem, shma min kulu. We're going to derive three different prohibitions from one word, sechanem, because sechanem has in it chania, it has in it chen, and it has in it chinam. All three are indicated in that one single word. And Tanya Namihachi, to support this, will bring a brisa. Lo seichanim lo sitilem chanoy bekarka, lo seichanim davracha lo seichanim lo sitilem chen, and davracha lo seichanim lo sitilem matnas chinam. So we have all three prohibitions derived from that same word. So the Gemara says the following: are you allowed to give a gift free of charge to an idol worship by deriving it from the word lo sichanim? That itself is a controversy amongst the Tanoim. Matnaschinam gufa Tanoihi, Desanya, we learned in a brisa. Now this brisa is going to darshan a pasuk in Parshas Re'eh in Sefer Dvarim in three different ways, reflecting three different opinions about the relationship between an idol worshiper and a ger. Now, the word ger in this context does not mean what we call a ger tzedek, who's accepted upon himself 613 mitzvahs with mila and tefillah, but rather it's referring to a ger toshav, and we have to allow him to live in the land and even support him if necessary. He has accepted in front of a Beis Shel Yisrael 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach because they were given to Moshe Rabbeinu at Har Sinai. And the Torah says, "Lo sochlu kol nevela." You're not allowed to eat an animal that dies without shechita. The flesh of the animal is nevela. So what do you do with the flesh of the animal? It's not osir bahana. You're allowed to have benefit from it. And the Torah goes ahead and specifies 2 things. Number one, lager asher b'sharecha titnenu v'achala. You give it as a gift to a ger. Asher b'sharecha means a ger toshav who lives in your land. As we said before, he accepted 7 mitzvahs b'nei Noach. O machar lenachri, or sell it to a guy who is not interested in becoming a ger toshav. Okay, so now we have 3 shitos, and they all pretty much revolve around that word o. The Torah says that you give a gift to the ger tzedek. I'm sorry, to the ger toshav. Or alternatively, you charge and sell the nevela to an oved kochavim, an idol worshiper. Lager b'mechira minayin. How do you know that the Torah permits you to sell it to a ger toshav? Talmud lomar titnena o mochar. Liovekov b'nesina minayin. How do you know that you'd be allowed, according to this Tana, to give a gift to an idol worshiper? Talmud lomar titnena v'achola o mochar lenachri. Nimtza to Omer, what's the bottom line of all this according to the Tanakama? Echad ger v'echad ovi kochom, bein b'nesina, bein b'mechira, divrei Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir basically allows you to do whatever you want, whether it's a nesina or a mechira, to whichever, whether it is to a ger, or whether it is to an oved kochav. However, Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. Rabbi Yehuda omer dvarim kiksava. We're going to take the pasuk literally, and that means that lager b'nesina u'ovi kochav b'mechira. You've only got 2 options. If you want to give the gift, you give it to a ger toshav, which means that you give them the nevela free of charge. And if you want to sell it, don't sell it to a ger toshav, but rather sell it to a nachri, meaning an oved kochav. So the Gemara says the following: what is Rabbi Yehuda based on? After all, Shapir Kol Rabbi Meir, the Torah seems to say what Rabbi Meir says, that you have 2 options, and you can either give a gift to the ger or to the akum, or you can either sell it to a ger or to the akum. Rabbi Meir is correct. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yehuda, Amlecha Yisal Kedaita Kedama Rabbi Meir. If Rabbi Meir was correct, the Torah should have said, Lichtov Rachmana Titnena Ve'achola Umachar. Drop the word O. It should have said, give it as a gift, or sell it to either a ger or a nachri. O lamali. The word O here in the middle splits it into 2, and it indicates that your choices are limited. And you either have the choice of giving it as a gift, in that case to a ger toshav, or selling it in that case to an akum. The O is telling us that that's exactly what you have to do. For Rabbi Meir, so Gemara now throws the ball back into the court of Rabbi Meir. What is Rabbi Meir doing with the word O? So now we have, in a certain sense, a third shita, although the Gemara is interpreting it within Rabbi Meir, namely that if you have a choice between A or B, you can either give it as a gift gratis to a ger toshav, or alternatively sell it to an oved kochavim. then your first choice should be to give it as a gift to the ger tosha. For Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, we're not going to interpret the word "oh" just to give us a kedima and first choice if you have two possibilities. But kevan de ger atom etzubelach yoso uknani atom etzubelach yoso lahakim lo tzakra. The Torah didn't have to add the word "oh" in order to give me a din of kedima. Obviously, I didn't get a kedima because there's no mitzvah to sell an avela to a guy, but there's a mitzvah to give a gift to a ger tosha because the Torah commands us to support the ger tosha. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda goes back to darshaning the word "oh," and he says you have two choices. Either you give it as a gift to a ger toshav, or you sell it to an akel. Dover acher. Now we go back to the original brisa. Lo sichanim lo titin lem chen. Right? You're not allowed to say, people watch the Miss Universe contest. I don't know if it still exists, at least when I was a child. And, you see, this woman from, I don't know from where, and she represents a certain country, and she's absolutely stunning. You say, wow, she really should get number one. She's so beautiful. She should win the international contest. That's a violation of Lo Site Lem Chen. Misayela Rav, also Liodam Shioma Kamena Ovedes Kocham Zu. How beautiful is this idol worshiper, this woman who's so beautiful? The Mefarshim say that according to a different text, you take out the Ovedes Kochavim and you say Oved Kochavim, and instead of Zu, it should say Zeh, which would mean if, let's say, some sort of idol worship or some pagan, and we have to talk about Christians, whether they're pagans or not, and this man won the wrestling match, heavyweight champion of the world. You say, wow, this is Mike Tyson, the greatest boxer I ever saw. He's great, he's great, he's great. That also comes under this violation. Meisvei will ask you a kasha. Maisa Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, Shahoy al Gabi Maila B'Har Bayis. He went up to the Har Bayis. For Ra Ovedes Kochal Machas Noy. Also, he saw a beautiful idol worshiper. Omar, he declares, "Ma Rabu Masech Hashem, how great and glorious are your works, O God." And not only do we see that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel commented on the beauty of an idol worshiper, but even Rabbi Akiva, Ra Isha Turnafus, Eshes Turnafur, Turnus Rufus, right? Turnus Rufus was the Roman officer that destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. And he saw his wife, and apparently she was a very beautiful woman. And what did he do? Number one, Rak Sochak Ubacha. He did three things. Rak, he spat. Sochak, he laughed. And three, he cried. We're going to soon see that she's going to ask him why. Rak shahaisa ba mitipas rucha. Right? She came from putrid semen, so he spat on the floor. Sochak, tiasita de magaira v'nosivla. That in the future she will convert to Judaism and he, Rabbi Akiva, will marry her. Bacha, the high shufra, koli biafra. That such a beautiful woman will rot in the earth. V'Rav, Rav says that you're not allowed to speak about how much you adore an idol worshiper. And the Gemara answers that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Oduye Yehuda Komoda. He's only giving praise to God. Tiyomar Mar Haroa Brios Tovos Omerbarch Shekocha Barabolama. You see something of a beautiful creature, you thank God for having created such a beautiful creature in this world. the Gemara is not really happy with it. Why? Because apparently Rav Shimon Gamliel saw this exceedingly beautiful woman and he gazed at her. Otherwise, how did he know that she was so beautiful that he would thank Hashem for creating such a beautiful woman? L'stakuli mishari meisvei v'nishmartem mikol davar. The Torah tells us in Vayikra Chav Gimel that you should be aware of anything evil, and it's referring here to a thought in your mind. Even if a woman is not married, you should not be gazing at her beauty. And when it comes to a married woman, you shouldn't even gaze at an ugly woman, because apparently, in the case of an Eishes Ish, the Torah is even more machmir about any sort of thought, and very stringent, and forbidding looking upon this woman even if she's ugly. Again, I don't know what ugly means here in this context. It's all, it's all relative. There's a Zara that says you're supposed to look at any other married woman as if she's ugly, like a monkey. Okay.